Node 564560 connected to Node 564562. Node 38512556 connected to Node 564560.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the '08 machine.
7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. We transmit on 70 centimeters to a crossband repeater on Cougar Mountain, and it spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our group, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll find the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on, and also a little bit of background about our organization. Also, you'll find there a link that will take you to YouTube, where our stream our net's held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the Western Washington Amateur Television Society's repeater, WW7STR, with a frequency of 147.08 with a tone of 103.5,
Node 3, 8,
where we simulcast
5,
our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. I will pause in case there's an emergency traffic or need to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. Again, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, besides Ron, KD7QKU, let's see if Jim, N7QO in Covington, is with us.
N7QO, yes sir, I am here.
Well, thank you with that. It looks like there's three of us here tonight. Ron, KD7QKU, you, and myself, KD7ZYM. Is anybody else wishing to check in?
K9PQ via Echolink. Good evening, Dave.
K9PQ, glad to hear that you're still floating, Bob. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's start off the net then with Ron, KD7QKU.
Node 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 0. Connected to Node.
Okay, this is
7,
Ron,
0,
KD7QKU.
6, 1.
Anyway, this is Ron, KD7QKU. I'm feeding back through Dave's Discord, so I don't know, and I can't seem to get a picture. So, and the streaming seems to be down. I got an intermittent picture. I saw myself a little bit once. I saw Dave when he was testing a little bit. I'm coming up now. There I am. I'm kind of a frozen picture. I don't know how long that's going to last. Well, let's see. We've sure had a lot of rain. In the last 2.5 days, I've had 4.80 inches of rain, and I had over an inch of rain today. I've had over an inch of rain every day. So we're saturated over here, that's for sure. Gee, Merry Christmas. I don't have much to report. We did get the ashes back from the cremation of our cat. That's not exciting news, but it was nice to kind of get that all finished up. Anyway, what else is going? Joanne's got our Christmas tree up and got it all decorated, and we put the boxes back in the garage. She has half a dozen of those big tubs that she puts stuff in. So, I ordered a electric fingernail trimmer from Amazon. I don't know if you guys have seen them. And the one I ordered, it said it was for senior citizens and it would do toenails, and it had 3 speeds. Well, it won't do toenails, that's for sure. The slot's too small to get a toenail in it, and it barely do a fingernail. So I boxed that back up, and I'm going to return that to Amazon. That was a joke. So anyway, I guess that's it for right now over here in northeast Tacoma. Forget where I'm at. KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks with that. It was a fine picture that came in on digital television. You did well, and you got audio coming in on 2 meters. That was good. So now let's move on to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, Dave. I also heard Rich, K7ITX, checking in, so might want to add him to the list there. Well, I have moved. I am now right next to the ferry, very, very close to the ferry between Whidbey Island and Port Townsend. It's, I believe they call it Keystone. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But the nearest real city nearby is Coupeville, and a lot of people refer to it as Coupeville around here. We surprisingly, I still think I have not had any rain since I arrived here, which was about 2:30 in the afternoon. It was raining hard. We had plenty of rain, like I think a lot of the region had. In the campsite I was leaving, Bayview, over between Anacortes and Burlington. So yeah, that was. I was expecting it. You know, I had to sort of hook up the trailer and be out in the rain, and I was expecting it to have the same problems setting up here, and it was not at all. I mean, it had been raining. There's standing water here and there, but it was just fine. I did make one mistake. I didn't dump the tanks at Bayview when I left. I just forgot, and I thought, I'll just do it when I get to Fort Casey State Park, which is where I am. Because every state park I've been to with a campground so far has had sorry, I just got distracted. Has had a dump station, but this one doesn't. It's the only one of all the places I've been. It's the only one that doesn't. So I actually visited yet another state park. I got a little bonus today. I went down to South Whidbey State Park, which I had no idea existed at all. Whidbey Island has about 5 little state parks. This particular one has a dump station because it had a campground. I guess technically it's still there, but they don't let anyone camp there now because something about the soil condition, the trees were falling over. And they didn't want trees falling onto campers, so no camping there. Anyway, so safe here, though, and I'll have more to share later. I'll send it back. K9PQ.
Thank you. Thanks for that. And Richard, K7ITX, what say you?
Yeah, hi. This is Richard over at K7ITX in Kent at the Northwest Kidney Center. Yeah, boy, the rain has just been mind-boggling. I was down by the Green River today on Highway 167, and that's probably the highest I've ever seen it. Looks like much more water. It's going over. May even close 167. That's the freeway between Auburn and Kent, and it also goes up to Puyallup up in one direction and Renton 405 in the other. So that was pretty interesting. So Ron, again, condolences. about your cat receiving the ashes today. I know that was pretty sad for me when I got Mika's ashes back. So I have a feeling for what you're going through. That's for sure. So let's see. Just looking forward to getting my blood cleaned and out of here in about hour and a half, and I'll be good to go. Keeping an eye on the water that's building up in the backyard. It shouldn't be an issue, but it's been pretty typical. I suspect that it'll drain away and not get close enough to the house to be concerned. But it's something I got to keep an eye on, that's for sure. So with that, K7ITX, back in that control.
K7ITX, thanks with that. Let's go pick up Jim again, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, first, my apologies for not showing up on Saturday. Saturday afternoon, about 4 o'clock, my neighbor called and asked if I could take him to an ER. He was experiencing some tremendous pain in his head. So I took him to the ER, and we were at the ER. That trip took like 7 hours and a little bit. He's back home now and okay, but unfortunately I missed the net. And I didn't get a chance to notify anyone. All of our neighbors are older. All of us need help from time to time. I've taken this fellow to the emergency room before, and I will probably wind up doing that again. Let's see. Well, I am not getting video. I did receive a couple of still pictures. Dave, I saw one and only one still picture of you. Ron, I saw one and only one still picture of you. Right now, my receipt of the television repeater is stuck at about 12 minutes and 13 seconds past the hour. And so, of course, there's no one's picture on it. Just the SDR display. But I'm receiving everyone very well, 2 meters. Ron got the Christmas tree put up. Sorry about the electric nail trimmer. I have never heard of anything like that. Sometimes when they send things from a different country, the advertising doesn't exactly get it perfectly correct. So, bummer on that. And Roger, you got Lily's ashes. Well, at least she's back at the house there. Bob, wow. Problems with dumping. Yeah, who would have thought? But at least you got that taken care of, and sounds like you're in a rain shadow right now. I'll tell you what, it's been raining all day here down by Covington.
WHEO connected to node
it
5
really came down.
4
and
5 6 0.
It's been warm though. Right now I'm showing 56 degrees outside. If this is people's idea of winter, well, I can take it rather than having to shovel snow. Let's see, Dick. Yeah, I heard on television they said the area between Auburn and Kent is particularly bad, close to us anyway. Sounds like it's kind of high everywhere. I have some friends who live right at the airport in Concrete, and the Skagit River is up. Have not been able to get a hold of them. My guess is they evacuated, but I don't know. Interesting to watch tomorrow's news and see a little bit more about the weather. I guess some of the rivers are still continuing to rise, and they won't be all the way up for another day or so. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
In 7QO, thanks for that. And coming up next is Carlos, 87NP.
Okay. I see audio. Oh, sorry. Wrong camera. Let's see if the camera switches. All right. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I was late arriving at the net, and it seemed like we had an expired key on the streaming. So probably this was impacting people that were trying to observe the streaming. Jim, I would say my reception from the repeater is also a little weak today. Maybe there's too much wind, and kind of all this rain is not helping out. I can see here on the stream that my signal is getting to the repeater just fine, but if I watch the output of the repeater signal, it's kind of dropping on and off. So there's clearly this weather is not helping the propagation of the repeater output. That's for sure. I was curious about this new technology that Ron is talking about. So now I'm in this rabbit hole of going through Amazon and trying to find this ideal electric nail clipper or nail trimmer. Ron, this is a new technology for me. I hadn't considered this before. We do have one for the dog. I don't think it's electric. We tried once the electric, but then the whole noise of the electric would just scare the dog, so this was definitely not a good option. But that's pretty good. In terms of update, so Bob, I hear that you're now at new location. You have to. Sorry, I missed the new location. I'm going to try to find you on Google Earth and just point the satellites over. Hopefully I'll get the right location this time. It's the continuation. But love to learn kind of when are you moving into the next location, and what's the radio plan, and what's the kind of the repeaters around, and if you have already made calls on what's the right internet provider. It's going to be great to kind of follow your adventure on getting back into your new QTH. Nothing much for now. I'll have some more to share on the second round. And hopefully everything else outside of the repeater signal stays stable from what I can see. And so I'll send it back to Dave, our net control from 87NP in Clyde Hill.
87 MP, thanks with that. And get an ID here and going. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Here in Lake City, boy, I guess rain gauge is showing a quarter inch of rain in Lake City. So it's been pretty dry. That's unusual for Lake City. So anyway, that's what the weather forecast here. It's clear outside, and there was a spittering of rain that came down about noon today. I had a doctor's appointment I went to, and driving to the doctor's office, I had to use the windshield wipers a couple of times, but that was about it for about two city blocks, and then that was the end of it. So I feel sorry for those that have really been impacted by the rain, especially Richard. Getting around out in his area is almost impossible because of some road closures. So anyway, and everybody else, I guess we must live up in a little higher ground and not be being exposed to all that water. So that's what's happening here. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. So we'll move it back up to Ron, KD7QKU. What say you, Ron?
Okay. Thank you very much, Dave. KD7QKU here. Well, Carlos, thank you for fixing the streaming. That was nice. And Jim, it was really good. You could take your neighbor to the emergency room. You know, some of the old people need help sometimes. I had to help my neighbor out a few weeks ago, and turned out to be kind of a mess, but, you know, that's life. So let's see. Yeah, the flooding's terrible, and I guess the rivers are still rising. So, Dave, it doesn't sound like you had much rain.
6,
I got over
7,
an inch.
0,
I got
6,
at least a
1, disconnected.
1.10, an inch and a tenth last time I looked for today. This morning the wind was blowing really hard. The rain was, when I got up, I get up about 6:30 and I listen to the Lyman Hill repeater up out of Bellingham. It's up about 4,000 feet, and it's interesting to hear those people. Nice bunch of people up there. So they start at 7:45. It's 1:45.190 with a tone of 103.5. And so, Bob, you should be able to get into that repeater just fine. And I don't know how many other nets they have on it, but they have the one at 7:45 in the morning. I mean 6:45, excuse me, 6:45. So anyway, lost my train of thought. But yeah, the flooding is terrible. I do remember, I guess, the 1990 flooding when they had that. And then after that, they talked about, you know, diking the Skagit River, but I don't believe they ever did that, so that wouldn't flood all those people out again. I have a niece that lives pretty close to downtown Mount Vernon, and I saw them. They have this steel barrier they put up at the city of Mount Vernon if the water gets above the dike. But she's a little south of the main town, a few blocks, and I don't think that barrier would do her much good. As far as I know, she's never been flooded, but if the river goes, you know, 3 or 4 feet higher than it did in 1990, which they think it could, she could get flooded, I'm sure. So that would be too. It'd be terrible, you know, to get flooded here this time of year, cold and Christmas and everything staring us in the face. It'd be awful. So anyway, I guess we're fortunate. I don't seem to be bothered much. My lot slopes, or the hard pan or something slopes a little bit to the east, and so my runoff water appeared, you know, in the past over by this row of these trees I put in. I can't say what they are now. You know, those evergreen trees that make a hedge. Well, I put in some that, you know, were were 6 feet high, and now they're getting bigger. But anyway, the water would accumulate over there, and it caused a couple of them to die. In fact, I guess I had to replace 5 of them. So anyway, I had Armando come over, and he put in a French drain and then drain it out to the gutter in the street. And so that works pretty good now. It will drain. It does puddle up some, but it will when it rains hard like this, but it will drain. So that was good. Yeah, Bob, I didn't get your location, but I guess you're near Oak Harbor there in Whidbey. And then I know you found a place to dump, which I don't know if it was Whidbey Island State Park or not. But so anyway, we're all anxious for your deal to go through and for you to get moved in. I was talking, let me let it drop maybe. I was talking to Dave on the phone today, and we were saying that, you know, the house you're buying isn't large, but after you've lived in the trailer, the house will probably be real comfortable for you, so that's good. You know, to go from the trailer to your new house. I remember looking at the pictures on the computer. It was very, very nice. Okay, I guess I've rambled enough. So back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks with that. And the net acknowledges WU7N is signed on. Thank you with that, James. But now let's pick up Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, well, first things first, my current location is Fort Casey State Park. Carlos, you can look that one up, and you should, if you find it, you should find it right next to it, a ferry terminal. I could literally throw a rock. Well, I don't know if I could today. At one time, I could throw a rock from where I'm camping and hit the ferry. That's how close I am. Fortunately, whatever they use for a horn, it puts out this kind of a higher pitched toot kind of sound, which is not unpleasant at all, but is definitely something you can hear, which is very nice, because it's not one of those massive horns that a lot of ships have. Let's see. So yeah, the house. Everything is on track. This is sort of a period right now for me where I'm just waiting to find out, where they're just processing stuff. I've done everything I can at this point. There's one thing left for me to do, which I thought I was going to do this morning, but they didn't get get an appointment done. So that is signing of the papers. Turns out you don't have to wait until the money is there to sign the papers. So I'm going to sign all the papers, hopefully in the next day or two, and the money may or may not be there yet, and the closing will be complete once the money is there. And so it's up to the escrow people to manage all of that. So they just need to sign papers. That's one of the things they need. Obviously, the money is another thing they need, and then there are many, many small details of things that they need. And so that will be when the papers are signed and the money has arrived to them, then they will do whatever they do and hand me the keys, and that's when it will be my house. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. And we're hoping it will be in the next few days, because Monday the contract actually expires, and technically she could get out of it if she wanted, and I guess I could get out of it. I'm not sure. I don't know how all that works, but none of us want to do that. So if we have to, we'll do an extension, but we don't want it to come to that. So we're really hoping everything will be done by Monday, and that's coming up fast. it's a little crazy for me to think that it's going to be so soon. As far as internet, I know Xfinity is there. I'm hoping I haven't found this yet. I'm hoping there will be a fiber company. Ziply is not there. I checked that one already. That's the one I had in Bothell, and they were really good. I wish they were out here too. I think they're on the island, they even said, but they're not at my place. So I'll keep you all informed. I'll kind of rambled on quite a bit here. I'll send it back and have more to say later. Back to Net Control, K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. Let's pick up Richard again, K7ITX.
Okay, well, good, Bob, on the progress, and yeah, I looking forward to having new things closed out on Monday. That would be great. Or before that, yeah. And Jim, good on you on helping out a neighbor. Yeah, I know about how it is getting into the older years, and so anytime one senior can help another senior, it's always a great thing. And so anyway, really about all I have to look forward to right now is the Seahawks on Sunday. It looks like maybe a quarterback is going to come out of the woodwork, and if he does, for Baltimore, he'll be the well, I guess it's all Baltimore. Maybe it's Indianapolis. It's the Colts anyway. They get moved around so much sometimes you don't know what city they're really in. But anyway, this quarterback is, if he does play Sunday for the opposing opponent to the Seahawks, he'll be the oldest man in the NFL on the field that Sunday. So I'm kind of hoping that his name is Philip Rivers, and I guess he's had a great career, but he's kind of old. He's got a lot of grandchildren, and but they brought him out of the woodwork, and I saw him practicing on TV today. So it'll be interesting to see if he actually does get to play, and I hope he isn't that good, but anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. So with that, this is K7ITX, back to Net Control.
K7ITX, thanks for that. And get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. And let's pick up Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Well, Carlos, yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Good to know that the repeater's still working okay. I'm sure it's just my location and the weather. As you were talking, maybe it wasn't as you were talking, but anyway, for a little bit there, the top third of my video display was showing Dave. The middle third was showing Ron, and the bottom third was showing the SDR display. Right now I have a picture of Ron frozen there. I'm sure weather is a major factor here today. Let's see.
Nail clipper. Scaring your dog. Okay, I have a potential workaround. some ingenious Chinaman made a noise-canceling headset for dogs. Just a thought. It may complicate things a little bit, but
I think your dog needs a noise-canceling headset so that the noise from the clippers doesn't scare the dog. Let's see. Bob, before I forget, House on Track, processing paperwork, technically contract expires Monday. Well, guess what? Today, the Fed lowered the interest rate by 0.25%. I wonder if maybe before everything closes, since this is before the paperwork is all done, maybe they can adjust your payment downward and then close, and you might get $100 a month lower on the payments or something. I don't know. Or, well, wait a minute. You said it's an all cash deal, so I guess in that case, never mind. Anyway, just a thought. Dick, yeah, I saw the new guy. I was thinking they got him just to fill in for practice, but yeah, they're kind of short on quarterbacks here, so I don't know. Maybe he will get to play in a game, because I don't remember when anyone is supposed to come back off the injured list. But yeah, things are crazy. Let's see. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. Now, let's go to James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing, 1, 2. Okay, we're on the air. All right, well, first of all, I thought I'd lead with this. I can easily flip the camera here, but I'm not sure if the lighting is going to work. Okay, so now, I don't know. Flip the camera. Let's see, how do you do that? Flip the camera. Flip camera. Flip camera. Okay, there we go, flip camera. All right, well, there's the UPS. It's only gone off one time that I've noticed. But here's what old men do. They buy the bargain hiking boots, and then they spend lots of money on this to get the bargain hiking boots to work just as well as the other ones. But then it doesn't stop there. The addiction to glue goes further. You'll probably recognize these, Dave, and you'll notice that there's some pretty substantial glue, super glue, and this was baking soda, and then I dyed it with a black marker to repair over here. I had another repair over here that was much more complex because it was inside that area, right where my little finger is. And so I had to take it all apart, glue it on the inside so it would not glue the ability of the earphone to turn, and then put it all back together again. I think I'm successful. We'll have to see. So that's the story of old men and their glue addictions. Well, I've been listening for a couple rounds now because I was late to the net. Ron, electric fingernail clipper, like Carlos, I'm amazed. I didn't know an electric fingernail clipper even existed. I'm curious to know if it's solar powered, or if there's a tiny nuclear reactor and the one you finally settle on. I mean, the possibilities here are just endless, and I'm really curious. Condolences on your cat. That's always kind of sad when the ashes come home. But anyway, let's see. Bob, a ferry nearby. It is Washington State, especially Seattle, so there's probably more than one. Let's see. I can't believe you've had no rain. And there's no dump station? I thought all parks in Washington State had a salmon stream nearby. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand that. Richard, well, I'm glad you could be with us while you're getting the oil change there. That's good. Thank you very much for joining us. And I just heard today that Washington State has declared Washington State a state disaster area because of the flooding. And I guess there's reasons for that. I guess it qualifies all the people being washed away for federal funds. But I saw a couple news feeds just before the net started. I guess next to, I saw a picture of the Cedar River, and the water's almost up to where the road is on an overpass, a bridge over the river. So that is really high for the Cedar River. And I guess Skagit is also overflowing in spots. So anyway, let's see. Jim, thank you very much for taking your neighbor to the ER. That's good. I saw a great clip of the differences between Japan and the U.S., and one of the ones she pointed out is that ambulances are free in Japan, and most rescue services are. Even like if you get stuck up on the side of a mountain trying to climb Mount Fuji or something, they come and get you. And she said, well, the reason for that is because it's much easier and cheaper to bleed out in an Uber. So I think she was poking a little fun at America's lack of comprehensive national health care. My video seems to be coming through just fine, so thank you very much, Carlos, for kickstarting that. And let's see. Let's continue on the game. Where in the world is Bob? That's good for Washington State geography. I think I've been to the fort you're at. I'm almost sure I have. And I found it really interesting, is from what I can remember of it. Okay, now really hot news. Since November 22nd was the day the data died, the next stab here, I got 2 recommendations from wireless internet from T-Mobile. But it is just like dealing with the little troll under the bridge. They sent me a wireless router, some sort of mesh extender, and a SIM card. It's a trap. Because if you actually put the SIM card in the router, it'll start your billing. And they bundled me with a cell phone, which has its own SIM card. So I have to wait for the cell phone SIM card to arrive, and I guess put in both SIM cards maybe simultaneously to start the billing cycle correctly. I also was told they're giving me something like a $300 MasterCard or something at some point, and a friend of mine said, yeah, you'll have to harass them every week on that. They're hoping you'll forget or give up on that. Not me. Okay, so anyway, that's all the hot news that is news around here. If I don't glue myself to the cell phone, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, right?
W7N, thanks with that. And let's pick up Carlos, 87 NP in Clyde Hill.
Okay, this is 87 NP in Clyde Hill. And it's good news. You are one SIM away, James, to kind of have multiple lines of communication. That's very good. So good follow-up. I think I got the right name of the camp this time, Bob. Let me see if I can switch my video stream. I think you said Fort Casey State Park. So let's go and fly there on Google Earth. It's an oceanfront park with a historic lighthouse and gun battery. And so this seems to match your description. There's a Keystone Ferry Landing right there, and there's the Fort Casey Park, and there's a very nice lighthouse close by. Scrolling out, there's something that's kind of, I don't know, from the satellite image looks strange. I think they call it the Crockett Lake, but seemed like it was empty. when the satellite picture showed up. So never been there, or at least I don't remember being there. So unclear, but looks like a very nice location just across from 4,000, if we're getting that right. What was the other recommendation? This is lots of good technology that they hadn't considered before. It's not a promotion, but now that someone mentioned dog earmuffs, that's an interesting one. I hadn't thought about that, Jim. So I did find a couple of recommendations here. And the other was related to what people were saying about the mudslides. There was so they closed the eastbound of I-90 going to Stevens Pass, and this was a video. Let me see if I can show you. I think this was Kent and Auburn this afternoon. So kind of lots of water for sure. And then I think on this same article, again just quoting the source of the news, where is this from Fox 13 Seattle, and then there was this picture which was the mudslide on EB90. So that looked quite scary also. And I think that they just extended, let me get back to my image, and they just extended the warning, so it seems like more of this still coming. Hope everyone stays safe as this goes around. It's very good. So Bob, hopefully that was the right park. Sorry, it is not real-time image from the satellite. Need to work on that next. But this was what was on the interwebs. Sending it back to Dave, Net Control from 87 NP in Clyde Hill.
'87 NP, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, what I've been receiving on DVB, digital amateur television on the screen on the digital side has been very pleasant this evening, and it's been strong and not interrupted. In my site, everything's been coming through without breaking up, so it's very clear images coming through. And so Bob, wow. As soon as the wampum is passed and the papers are signed, boy, you'll be moving into the Taj Mahal and get out of that life draft you're in. So anyway, that'll be something to look forward to. Then it comes the fun of figuring out where does the antenna on the outside of the place go, and then where do I run the wires through the wall, and then, oh yes, just on and on and on. Things keep happening, so I'm sure you'll have a good time once you get into that place and get all the gear up that you want and have a wonderful time. So anyway, wishing you well with that project. So let's move up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dave. Ron, KD7QKU here. Well, I have been at Fort Casey State Park with our motorhome once or twice. Once for sure. We have friends that live on kind of the south end of Whidbey Island, and so we went to that state park and then disconnected the car and drove down and spent a day with them and had dinner. Then we went to Clinton over there and shopped and ate and messed around, and then we went into Oak Harbor and did the same thing. Spent I don't know, 3 days there, maybe 4, I can't remember. We used to, get out and do a lot of that. I'm looking at, see if I put down Starlink. Well, James, I saw the other day where they have Starlink on sale. You can buy, I guess it's called the Mini, and it was $225, and then there was a $50 monthly charge for the service. And I don't know what you got for the service, but that's almost beginning to be reasonable, They'll get it down to where they're competitive with all the other stuff here pretty soon. So you could have your own satellite service. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. I didn't look into it necessarily because I guess I'm not going to buy one, but for those that could or should, it's getting less expensive. Gee, Merry Christmas. What else is going on? Today was, I went for a walk yesterday, and it wasn't too bad. I didn't get too wet. I do have Gore-Tex coat, Gore-Tex pants. I can get all bundled up, but I didn't think it was worth it today. So I just spent the day looking at TV and then looked at Corvette video things, which was kind of interesting. So I found out that the average Corvette owner is 61 years old. So it looks like older folks seem to be the ones that buy them. And new ones, holy smokes, new ones can run, depending on the accessories you put on them, 175,000 or something. And I think, gee, Merry Christmas. I guess you can get one for 65,000 or 85,000 a new one. I don't know. But anyway, I have an old one, and it was a cheapie, so I don't know. And then it said the income, and I don't know if that was true or not, but man, the average income for the people that own Corvettes was really high, too. So that was kind of interesting. So, that's what I spend my day between watching Hallmark movies, going to YouTube and, and get YouTube on the TV, and I watch, I watched a car thing show, it was called Caffeine and it wasn't gasoline, but anyway, it was about cars. And it was car shows, and man, oh man, some of them were big, and so they walk around and they interview the people with the cars, and then, of course, the person who owns the cars show them. And really, really interesting. They pick out a lot of one and only type cars. Some of the stuff I didn't even know that Ford or General Motors ever made them, or Chrysler. And then, of course, Richard, you're listening. Your brother, your dad's car, that's car show worthy material. They had some cars like that. They were like kit cars that were put together, and they're really nice. So, your not your brother, your son, I guess, that has it up at Bellingham. Excuse me, my memory isn't so good. I guess it's your son that has it up at his place now. So, anyway, all right. Well, I've rambled enough. So back to Net, and it's nice to see everybody. KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. Thanks with that. And let's go pick up Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, well, let's see. One of the things I'm definitely looking forward to, Ron, talking about, nice to see everybody, is getting back to be able to participate in the video side. I've tried it and not succeeded, even just trying to look at the video of the low latency streaming. It just was a little too much to try and push that on my setup. But moving on, let's see. Carlos, with the clipping of the dog nails, it reminded me of just a hilarious video I saw of maybe you would call it a genius video. Somebody was wearing a shower cap smeared with peanut butter, and the dog was licking the peanut butter constantly while they were clipping the dog's nails. And it was very effective. The dog didn't have any interest in anything other than the peanut butter. Yeah, Jim. So yes, it's a cash deal for the place in Oak Harbor, but I'm refinancing my other condo to do it, and so there is an interest rate involved. But one of the pieces of paper that I signed recently was to lock in the interest rate. So they had already come down some, at that point. So I'm quite happy with it. And James, yeah, Fort Casey. I don't know why I put you and Fort Casey and YMCA. I guess just to describe the area. So Fort Casey was a lot bigger than the state park, and I'm not sure, I think the state park was bigger too, but all of the area where the barracks were, and a very large area, the YMCA took over, and it's now Camp Casey, YMCA Camp Casey. But the rest of the park is still here, and the actual campground is right down at the water. I would say we're just, a few feet above the water level, but it's the sound water level, so I don't think any amount of rain is going to really affect that very much. I did see flooding on my trip here, localized, just like farms with, that were quite flooded. And I do have to say, even though I wouldn't expect the rain to affect the level of Puget Sound, but I did, when I saw the tsunami warning sign, and there was heavy rain coming down, it sort of meant a little more to me. Dave, yeah, I wish I could put an antenna on the outside, but this will be a condo, even though it's a separate little building, a separate little cottage. It will be a condo, so I will not be allowed to do that. My plan is to secretly put antennas in the attic. So we'll see how well that works out. And yeah, Ron, thanks for the tip on Lyman Hill. That's one I'll probably be trying to reach. I'm certainly be trying to reach one or two that I can get with Lee, and also back to you guys. I have no idea how well I'm going to reach the 08 machine from there, but I'm going to give it a shot. I think that's all I have. Yeah, and it actually has started raining a little bit here. I noticed I was getting a little splatter coming in. I usually like to keep my roof vent open, at least a crack, just to keep some air. But between it got windy and rainy, and so it was coming in a little bit, so I closed it. So, oh boy, we're just about done, and I'm rambling on. Okay, back to you, Dave, K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. Let's go to Richard for a final. K7ITX.
Well, so really the big event tomorrow for us will be Debbie driving to Tacoma to see one of her best friends, and take her to court for probate, get probate established, and get the executor appointed. And we'll see if her brother shows up and presents an argument against that case. But we'll also see if Debbie can make it. There's no way to get from Kent to Tacoma without crossing the Green River. So I don't think she'll have a problem, but boy, you never know. So anyway, thank you for really participate and hear everybody tonight. Thank you very much. I'll say 7 I
WK7ITX, thanks with that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, and it's time to sign off the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net, broadcasting in digital amateur television in the DVB-T format and almost simulcasting on WW7 STR's 2-meter repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, signing off the net at 9:01. Good evening, all.
Node 3815108 disconnected. Node 3851256 disconnected.
W7N testing.
Node 6654220 disconnected.